Hello, welcome back to my channel. So I thought today I'd do a video on the Iron 10th, or the Iron Hands as they're more commonly known. So yeah, today I'm going to do the Sons of Medusa. It's a mix of 30k tactics and battlefield prowess is the right word, but the units they have and things like that, and a mix of their lore. So Iron 10th were initially formed during the unification on Terra before they met up with Ferrous on Medusa, and there isn't much to say what happened to the Terran side of the Iron 10th. Just then Ferrous landed on Medusa, and that's officially once Ferrous was a full-grown man on Medusa. That's when the history books start, so to speak. The Iron Hands have a weird belief that flesh is weak, so they will go out of their way to replace any damaged or inherently weak parts of their body with metal. And this starts off all the way back at the initiate level. So when a scout becomes an Iron Hand Space Marine, Battle Brother, he loses his left hand to a bionic straight away. So all Iron Hands, their left hand is silver by when they reach Battle Brother status, which seems odd to me. Especially as Ferrous didn't like his silver hands that he'd gained during his time on Medusa. Because according to some of the lore, he battled a very savage demon. Well, I say demon. It bled, so he killed it. In nice straightforward terms. And the Iron 10th are known for having Iron Fathers, and especially 40k and 30k, they have a council of beings called Iron Fathers. Now these are potentially centuries old Space Marines, and this is one of the 30k models of an Iron Father. So he's got a servo arm, a ranged pistol, in this case it's Volkite, a Volkite charger, and he's got a power axe. Now the 40k versions, like Apherios, I believe is an Iron Father, who you can buy and assemble these days, have the Mechanicum symbol on them. These ones, I think this is, it's safe to say, yeah, this is going to be a Medusan created axe here, not a Mechanicum power axe. But where it's made is neither here nor there. The 40k ones will have the Mechanicum symbol on, because they're so closely linked with how they like to keep the ties to the Mechanicum nice and strong. They are very close to the Mechanicum in many respects. Again, they share lots of bionics. So yeah, the Iron Hands in the Heresy started with the tactic of hammer and anvil, but they call it the hammer and storm. So they have bait, effectively, to draw the enemy out completely against their against the bait. So the enemy then go, "Ooh, we're gonna kill them," and then the Iron Hands come down and effectively what I did on the planet nicknamed Rust was a triangular deployment which caused all the orcs on that planet for many kilometers. They had kilometers along each side of the triangle, and these orcs went, "There's zoomies over there. Let's go crump them." So all the orcs swarmed out of their tunnels straight towards these guns, got slaughtered on the way there, and then the Iron Hands, once all the orcs were fully committed, dropped down behind them via drop pods and drop ships, and like the incoming tide of a wave, washed them away with bolter fire. And the Iron Tenth took very few casualties. One of their elite units, I say one because there's a couple of them in the Heresy era, are these Gorgon Terminators. Now, the Gorgons are unique amongst the individual Legion unique Terminator units because they can't take off their armour for repairs. It's built into them. They are as much one with the suit as a Space Marine has direct interface with his armour suit in the canon of 40k. But the Gorgons take it one step further. Rather than just having a suit that you can take on and take off every time you finish, you feel you fell in battle or what have you. For these guys, they actually integrate into the suit permanently. So these guys are volunteers from the Legion who want to help their Primarch, and they are integrated fully, so there's no flesh whatsoever in this armour. That will be fully. There may be bones to keep them upright, and a couple of I say bones. They're probably all prosthetics underneath, and they've replaced all their flesh to become a Gorgon Terminator. That is one of them, and these guys have a unique ability. Every time they pass a saving throw or a either an invulnerable or a normal saving throw, they get to send the energy back to the enemy in the form of a blinding light. So the enemy can then take a blind test, and if it's failed, the enemy will then strike in last, regardless. And the Gorgons have power axes as standard in their squads. The sergeant has a thunderhammer as standard. Yes, as standard. So these are 2 wound Terminators with power axes and thunderhammers as standard in the squad. That's deadly. Also, they feel no pain, and as I say, they can blind the enemies within a small radius around them. So, yeah, very deadly squad. And the Gorgons, Ferrous, Iron Fathers, Medusan Immortals, another unit. Now you may think, but Dom, that's just a Breacher Marine. No, Breacher Marines don't have Iron Hand symbols on them. I say Iron Hand symbols. They don't have the Iron Hand. They'll have the Iron Hand marking on that shoulder, but they won't have these fancy Breacher shields or all these bionics. I mean, look at that for a leg. He's got tons of bionics there. So yeah, tons of bionics on that leg. And these are guys who have failed Ferrous in some way. So they're now trying to repent from their for previous actions, and have been put into the Medusan Immortal Squad instead. And I thought those had different guns on them, but they don't, which is excellent because I want to have some more bolter pattern and Medusan Immortals in my army. So this is my collection is 5 Gordons, 5 Medusans, an Iron Father, and Ferrous. So far, my collection of Iron Hands. Now I could go Tactical Marines. They're always a good shout. Especially the Mark III Armour Marines. However, Iron Hands, I prefer to think of them more as a mobile wall of metal. And the breacher shields help to give that impression of a wall of metal, an iron wall going forwards, which, I mean, the Jordans don't give that same impression, yes, but at the same time, they've got combi bolters and they've got power axes. They don't need shields, they're Terminators. But, yeah, I say, the Iron Hands started way back in the 30th millennium as a first founding legion. After the drop site massacre, they still have actually to this day a hatred for Raven Guard and Salamanders successor chapters. Not the actual founding legions, but the successor chapters to the Raven Guard and the Salamanders. They thought if the Salamanders and the Raven Guard had been stronger in the heresy, Ferrous wouldn't have died. They forget the fact that Ferrous hated the fact that the betrayal happened, and there was this hatred, ultimately, and the betrayal by his brother, which led to him attacking Horus before the actual forces were ready to attack. So the Raven Guard, the Iron Hands, and the Salamanders attacked Horus, Fulgrim, and Mortarion on Ispan 5, and then got ambushed, ironically enough, almost hammer and storm type ambush, by the 4 legions that they thought came to support them. The Night Lords, the World Eaters, the Word Bearers, and Iron Warriors. So yeah, they got their they got destroyed. Well, I say destroyed. They got decimated down to a fraction of their then fighting strength. And since then, the Iron Hands have never had one set leader. They've always had a council, and then that council goes, right, we want you to be our representative to the wider Imperium. So yeah, they have a weird way of commanding their armies. They're never under one main commander. So like the Ultramarines, they have Calgar as their chapter master and first captain, but the Iron Hands have never had a first captain. They have Iron Fathers, like this guy, who lead one of the 10 clan companies. There are 10 clans on Medusa, handily enough. So they have 10 clan companies, and each clan company is led by a separate Iron Father, who then goes to his council, and then they say, okay, for this battle, we want you to lead the forces. So this is my brief rundown on the Iron Hands and a look at my collection. I will put a video at the end, a picture, sorry, at the end of my collection laid out in all its glory. I haven't included Ferris in it because he's not assembled. Once I have got the the bravery to tackle Ferris Manus, I will include him in the photos, and I'm hoping soon to get 40 Breacher Marines with these style of Marines, bolters and shields. 40 Breacher Marines, 15 more Medusan Immortals. I might take that down, I'm not sure. A sort of 20 would be deadly though. And some more Gorgon Terminators, because the Gorgons are just going to be absolutely deadly, I can tell. The reason I say that is, I say, the Medusan Immortals don't feel any pain, feel no pain, sorry, and the Gorgons have feel no pain. So already I'm not needing as many apothecaries in Heresy era army than I would be needing. And I'm thinking an Iron Father. I'd got an Iron Father to lead them. He's a Praetor level character. He's actually an optional option for the Praetors in the Iron Hands. So yeah, that's going to be a Praetor, an Iron Father. I'm not sure if I'll get any consuls. I mean, a consul champion could do really well in Iron Hands. I mean, the army itself has a special rule where all the incoming firepower that hits an Iron Hands legionary or somebody with the Legionis Astartes Iron Hands rule is reduced by 1 point of strength. So bolters, strength 3, Volkite, strength 5, heavy bolters, strength 4, multi-melters, melter guns, and such like. You know, these normally the tank busting guns. Were strength 8 and now strength 7. So I could charge these guys happily into a squad full of multi-melters, and they just go, right, okay, you've charged me. You're AP2, I get that, but you're not strength 8, you're strength 7, so you don't instantly kill any of my men. I did take 2 melter hits to kill one of those guys, and that's if I don't fail any armor saves, because they've got an invulnerable save and feel no pain. So they've got 2 chances of saving themselves in battle without needing any extra characters around, which is amazing. And if I give them another 5 men there, they get a Spartan as a transport vehicle. Now let's sink in a bit. A Spartan is at least 4 hull point, if not more. I think maybe 6 hull point model with quad last cannons on each sponson, heavy bolters, a flare shield, as well as a capacity of 20. So I'm thinking I might give the Gorgons a bump up to say 8 or 7 or 8 models, and then attach Ferrus Manus to them. Actually, no, it's probably bump up to 9 models, attach Ferrus Manus, and then charge him out the front of the hatch into battle, because that would be nasty. So yeah, that's the brief rundown of the Iron Hands between 40k and 30k. I say they have some understandable hatred for the traitor legions, but I don't understand the hatred towards the fellow drop site massacre survivors. I mean, yes, Korax didn't die, and Vulcan got taken, but to blame it all on them is churlish. It doesn't make sense. I would rather. I mean, I can get why they feel that way. Don't misunderstand me. Losing your Primarch is never a nice thing, but they believe Ferrus will return. I have a little thing to tell them though. You can't return when you're dead. So, yeah, Ferrus has died 10,000 years ago, and that was at the hand of Fulgrim. In the novels, Fulgrim uses a Forge Breaker to kill Ferrus. In the models sold by Forge World, he uses a Slaneshi sword. So, potato. It's up to you if you want to go with lore or models, and yeah, it's just money making at the end of the day. So yeah, that is a brief rundown of them all. I will hopefully get some more soon, and I will see you all next time. Thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.